If we're having a problem with our class and we go to talk to our superiors about it, they will probably prescribe us positive reinforcement. Oh, my year 4s are a nightmare. So noisy. Have you tried a bit of positive reinforcement with them? I'm having such a nightmare with Bob. He never gets his book out. You should try a bit of positive reinforcement with him. My girlfriend is mad at me again and won't speak to me. Positive reinforcement. I've got this wart that won't go away. Positive reinforcement. So I think we all have a basic idea of the definition of positive reinforcement. It's focusing on the good behaviour and not the bad behaviour. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great that we use this technique to get compliance from our students instead of shouting at them like most of my teachers in the 1990s did.
Get up and walk the hell out!
But what I've realised recently is that not all positive reinforcement is created equal. There are good ways to give positive reinforcement and there are bad ways. I was really struggling with a class. Even though I was using positive reinforcement, I was really struggling with getting them to behave. It's only when I read Doug Lemoff's book, Teach Like a Champion, that I realised that I wasn't doing positive reinforcement very well. A lot of the ideas in this video are going to come from Lemoff's book. I make no apology for this because his ideas are tried and tested in my classroom and I can 100% confirm that they work. So after watching this video, you should read his book. Now let's imagine this situation. You are teaching this very challenging class. You want your students to open their textbooks to a certain page, so you ask them to, but your class still looks like this. Despite most of the students not complying with you, there are 3 students who are actually following the rules and they're sat there with their book open to the correct page. The teacher is going to praise these students in 3 different ways. You watch and you decide which is the most effective positive reinforcement. Look everyone, Andy's the first one to get his book out. Yay, high five. Andy, you are such a star student and you can be so proud of all the hard work you've done this term. Okay, so Cindy's the first one to get her book out. Good job, Cindy. So that's 3 Class Dojo points to Cindy. Who's going to be the second one? The second one's getting 2 Class Dojo points. And Belinda's got her book out. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on. Actually, I tricked you. All of these 3 responses are bad. The problem is the teacher is treating those well-behaved kids as if they've done something excellent. They haven't done anything excellent. They've simply complied with the basic rules that the teacher should expect everybody to follow if you want some learning to happen. You're telling the good students that their behavior is exceptional, and you're telling the misbehaving students that their misbehavior is something normal and to be expected in your class. I'm going to walk you through a better way of dealing with this situation. But before you can even get to the stage where you can solve behavior problems like this, there's one thing that you must be doing in your everyday teaching, and that is holding all of your students in unconditional positive regard. Before the students have walked into your classroom, they should get the sense that you respect them, you value them as individuals, and that you know them on a personal level. If they feel this way, then they will know that if you have to administer a consequence for bad behavior, it is about the behavior and not about the person. They will know that the rules in your classroom are enforced fairly and nothing is personal. So never do the whole, he's in my good books, he's in my bad books, he has to work for my approval act. Never do that. Treat everybody in unconditional positive regard. So I achieved this by forming relationships with my pupils outside of the classroom. When they walk into the classroom, I will greet each and every one of them warmly. If you do this, you're giving yourself the best chance of preventing misbehavior from happening in the first place. Okay, but now imagine that things haven't gone to plan and they're still being naughty when you're asking them to take the books out. Here's what I will do. Okay everyone, you have 3 seconds to open your books to page 5. 3. Okay, Rufus has done it. 2. Wendy's done it. Olive's done it. Still waiting for 2 people on this side of the room to do it. 1. If you noticed, I just narrated what was happening without emotion. When I said the name of the pupil, I was acknowledging that they were complying, but I wasn't going over the top with the praise. This is because I can't reinforce this point enough, that we should use positive reinforcement to reward excellence, not compliance. We live in a culture of instant gratification. The problem is, if you praise children when it isn't really deserved, you will find that children will be reluctant to comply, even in the littlest way, if there's no praise in return. And I think that sets a very bad precedent. We want children to enjoy learning because that motivation comes from inside. If they expect a reward for every little action, it's creating a hell of a lot of work for the teacher. So when then should we actually praise students in a similar way to some of the examples from before? We should save it for moments of genuine excellence. When a student produces a really good piece of work, we should show off that student's work to the rest of the class. And I don't just mean showing off the Einsteins in your class. I mean celebrating the efforts of students of all abilities when they genuinely do put an effort into their work, or they behave in an exceptional way. As I said earlier, if we're just talking about basic compliance with the rules, just narrate the good behavior in an unemotional way. But if the narration alone is not solving the problem, then we will need more than positive reinforcement. And that is the subject of a whole new video. So my next video is going to be about corrections and consequences. So I will link the video when it's out and it's ready. If not, please subscribe to the channel to be the first to get it in your inbox. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so please leave a comment down below. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, maybe you have an even better idea about how we deal with misbehavior in our classroom. Stay tuned for the next video.